We all go to supermarkets or malls to buy food items, but one thing that we all ignore is nutrition label. And the reason for that is, reading labels can be tricky. Consumers are more health conscious than ever, so some food manufacturers use misleading tricks to convince people to buy highly processed and unhealthy products. Food labeling regulations are complex, making it harder for consumers to understand them. So in this video I will tell you exactly how you should read the nutrition label. Don't let the claims on the front fool you. One of the best tips may be to completely ignore claims on the front of the packaging. Front labels are often used to lure people into buying products. However, some of these labels are highly misleading. Many marketing terms are associated with improved health. These are often used to mislead consumers into thinking that unhealthy, processed food is good for them. Here are some of the most common claims. Light, multigrain, natural, organic, no added sugar, low calorie, low fat, low carb, made with whole grain, fortified or enriched, gluten-free, fruit-flavored, zero trans fat. Study the ingredients list. Product ingredients are listed by quantity, from highest to lowest amount. This means that the first ingredient is what the manufacturer used the most of. A good rule of thumb is to scan the first 3 ingredients, as they make up the largest part of what you're eating. If the first ingredients include refined grains, a type of sugar, or hydrogenated oils, you can assume that the product is unhealthy. In addition, an ingredients list that is longer than 2 to 3 lines suggests that the product is highly processed. Different names for sugar. Sugar goes by various names, many of which you may not recognize. These include cane sugar, invert sugar, corn sweetener, dextran, molasses, malt syrup, maltose, and evaporated cane juice. Now let's understand how to read and understand the nutrition facts label. Serving size. Serving sizes listed on packaging may be misleading and unrealistic. Manufacturers often list a much smaller amount than what most people consume in one setting. Calories. Calories provide a measure of how much energy you get from a serving of this food. To achieve or maintain a healthy body weight, balance the number of calories you eat and drink with the number of calories your body uses. Nutrients. Nutrition facts label shows you some key nutrients that impact your health. You can use the label to support your personal dietary needs. Look for foods that contain more of the nutrients you want to get more of and less of the nutrients you may want to limit. Nutrients to get less of: saturated fat, sodium, and added sugars. Saturated fat, sodium, and added sugars are nutrients listed on the label that may be associated with adverse health effects, and Americans generally consume too much of them, according to the recommended limits for these nutrients. They are identified as nutrients to get less of. Eating too much saturated fat and sodium, for example, is associated with an increased risk of developing some health conditions, like cardiovascular disease and high blood pressure. Consuming too much added sugars can make it hard to meet important nutrient needs while staying within calorie limits. Nutrients to get more of: dietary fiber, vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium. Dietary fiber, vitamin D, calcium, iron and potassium are nutrients on the label that Americans generally do not get the recommended amount of. They are identified as nutrients to get more of. Eating a diet high in dietary fiber can increase the frequency of bowel movements, lower blood glucose and cholesterol levels, and reduce calorie intake. Diets higher in vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium can reduce the risk of developing osteoporosis, anemia, and high blood pressure. The percent daily value. The percent daily value is the percentage of the daily value for each nutrient in a serving of the food. In other words, this value shows how much percent the nutrients contribute to the total amount of that particular nutrient you need in a day. For example, if percent daily value of fat is 10%, it means that your 10% of fat requirement is fulfilled in that serving. General Guide to Percent Daily Value. 5% daily value or less of a nutrient per serving is considered low. 20% daily value or more of a nutrient per serving is considered high. More often, choose foods that are higher in percent daily value for dietary fiber, vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium. Lower in percent daily value for saturated fat, sodium, and added sugars.